Hello, and welcome back to Jollyroger Hobbies. Here on my channel, I do, for the most part, general hobbies, including, but not limited to, model building videos like this one, RC aircraft, planes, helicopters, video games like Star Citizen, photography, geocaching, and pretty much anything to do with aviation. And I also do product reviews. And I'm going to start putting links to items I showcase in my videos in the description, so be sure and check the description out, especially if you like any of the items I present to you. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you will see when I upload a new video. And furthermore, feel free to ask questions in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer, and also you can converse with one another, but please do it in a respectful way. Now, this will be part one of a multi-part series about model building. So in part one, i.e. this video, I'm going to go over model kits, skill level, scale, and what is involved in building one. Part two, in the next video, I'll cover tools that are needed, basic, useful, and must-have tools, as well as some general helpful tools. So let's get to it. So first and foremost, you have to ask the question, what is a model? I want to go over the difference between a model and a model kit. I want you to take a look at this model that I built. Most of you probably recognize it as Red 5, the X-Wing fighter. Now, officially, at this point in time right now, this is a model, whereas before I put it together was a model kit. So those two terms I want you to be aware of, because a model kit means it needs built and a model is already built. And that's important for you to know simply because if you search online, search Amazon or anything else, and you look for a model, and it'll say model, and then you'll get it and it's already built, and that's not what you want. Or maybe you're looking for the model, and instead you find a model kit, and you think it's already built and purchase it and get it and find it in pieces. So be careful the difference between a model and a model kit. So what I'm going to be talking about here is model kits. What is scale all about? So if you look on this picture of the model kit of the P40 Tiger Shark, look up in the top right corner, you'd see it says 1:48. If you look at this 2010 Camaro model kit, left-hand side it says 1:25. So what that is the scale. The numbers are a ratio. Basically it's saying the size of the model relative to the original. So the first number being always a 1. The second number is what changes. So as you notice in those two examples I showed you, the 48 and 25, it's telling you how many units of the real thing are equal to 1 unit on the model. And here's where it gets tricky, because this depends on the manufacturer of the model kit. In a general term, 1:1 is a model that will be full size. So 1 foot is equal to 1 foot on the original. So 1 foot on the model is equal to 1 foot on the original. So if a model were 1:10, and that's, the colon means 2, so it basically would be 1/10 the size of the original. So model, the number on the left is your basic ratio. The model on the right is your model scale. So the further the second number gets from 1, the smaller the model kit is compared to the original. So back to the 1 to 10. To put another way, 1 foot is equal to 10 feet on the real thing. Now that tends to change a little, but that is the size of the model kit compared to the original. Let's go over categories real quick and common scales. For military models like tanks and half tracks and stuff like that, the most common scale is a 1 to 24. Aircraft wise, you're going to see 1 to 35 or 1 to 48 or 1 to 32 or 1 to 72. The most common that I see are 1 to 72 and 1 to 48, and I have seen a couple 1 to 32s. Now, large commercial jets are more at 1 to 144. Ship models tend to be unique because the originals are so large. So your common scales in ship models are going to be 1 to 72, 1 to 350th, 1 to 720, and many different scales in between, literally because of the size of the originals so large. So take the Star Destroyer from Star Wars. You're going to see it in the thousands, or the 2500, or 1 to 2500 or something like that, simply because the size of the original is said to be, in lore, slightly bigger than all of Manhattan. So when you put that in relative terms in a model, yeah, it's going to be a lot smaller. So the scale on the model is literally the ratio of the model size compared to its original. So the larger the number, the smaller the model is compared to its original. What does this mean to you? Well, in general terms, this kind of means how detailed the model is going to be. The larger the model, the more detailed it's going to be. The smaller the model, the less detailed. So if you're building a aircraft, say like a World War II aircraft like a Spitfire or a Mustang or a Focke-Wulf 190, and it says 1 to 72 scale, that's going to be a fairly small model, and it's going to have less details than if you were to build a 1 to 32 of the same model. So remember, the smaller the number on the right, the bigger the model. It's kind of opposite. But that's just a general rule of thumb. So moving on. Now let's go back to that P40 and look in the bottom right corner right here. And you're going to see it says Skill Level 2. And then if you look on the Camaro, it says the exact same thing, Skill Level 2. And then this kit that I picked up today, the Back to the Future car, shows Skill Level 2. That's a little misleading, because let me go over the basic skill levels. And when I mean basic, I literally mean basic. Because every manufacturer seems to be doing their own skill level. So when I talk about skill level, again, it's another arbitrary number. I hate to say it doesn't mean anything, but relatively what it does. So when I was at the hobby store today, I picked up a box, and on the back, it talked about their skill level. And see, the skill levels are different for every manufacturer. And even the skill level we have today are different than the skill levels we had in the past. So that's confusing itself. So here's that picture. So a skill level 1, they say, is a snap, build and play. You know, you get full play value. And I've seen some kind of toys like that. No glue needed. No paint or tools needed. Build time 30 minutes. Now, I want to sit here. First thing I want to say is these build times I want you to ignore 100% completely. This build time does not mean anything. I don't even know why they include it. Because when you get to the models that need glued, that glue needs to set for 12 to 24 hours. So I don't know how anybody can build this model in 6-7 hours. Ain't gonna happen. Skill level 2, which is what this Back to the Future kit was, is Snap Tight. And I want to make, just so you know, Snap Tight is a brand, like a crescent wrench. So when they mean Snap Tight, they mean it snaps together. So feature snap assembly, no glue or paint required. May require tools. That usually means like a screwdriver or something if you got a screw to put together. Now the one tip I would give, you definitely need an X-Acto knife. Or we'll go into, or sprue cutters, which we'll go into on the second video. So back to the skill level. Skill level 3, you need glue and tools, and paint optional. I've not really seen where kits have paint optional, but okay. And then they go skill level 4, glue and paint, up to 120 pieces. And again, build time 5+ hours. Again, ignore that. And then skill level 5, glue and paint, and tools, 120+ pieces. Now, again, these skill numbers are arbitrary because there are some kits out there that, the way this is put, skill level 5, you must be an expert. Bull. Same for skill 4 and on. They make it seem like you have to be really good and know what you're doing to build these. And it's not the case. So these numbers are arbitrary. First of all, I want to point out something else real quick. So I mentioned the past models, like years ago. All they had were skill level 1, 2, and 3. 1 meant snap together and no paint, no glue. Skill level 2 meant pretty much almost every single model out there. It means you needed glue and to paint it. And skill level 3 was designed for the very detail-oriented, very difficult models. So case in point, this sailing ship that I built. This is the USS Constitution. Now, if I get in a little bit closer, you see all the rigging in here, all the detail work that it took. This was a skill 3 when I got this years and years ago. That's pretty difficult to build, whereas everything else was a skill 2. So, again, skill numbers are arbitrary, and I hate to say it, but they're almost to be ignored. Just think of the big sailing ships where the rigging are going to be more difficult than, say, a car. So, what you need to pay attention to is on the box, it'll tell you whether it's a snap tight or snap it, as in this Back to the Future model, which just means you don't need to glue it. It snaps together. Every other model needs glue and paint. That's pretty obvious, but they're going to tell you on the box. And like I said, the ones that need rigging are just going to be, well, more. So the next thing you need to know is that the bigger the model, the more detailed it's going to be, and the more difficult it is. Well, no, not always either, because sometimes the bigger models are easier to put together than the small ones. But that's general preference. But I have noticed the bigger models, which obviously are more expensive, more detail oriented. Alright, so now I want to open up this snap together model that I got, because I want to show you. I bought this today just to show you, but I mean, it's the DeLorean, the flying DeLorean, so I mean, come on. This is cool. Now, I usually don't buy snap models simply because I like to build and I like to paint my own and glue them. But we'll get to that later. So let's open up this model and see what's in a snap type model, which officially they call it a skill level 2, and I'm calling it a skill level 1. Alright, so right away you see everything is packaged in a box. So we got our chrome pieces and time to laugh at something, because skill level 2 snap together plastic model kit, and I'm pretty sure on the back, authentic looking stainless steel body finish, wheels pivot in a flight position, includes stand to hold the car in flight. Well, right here. Contents include all plastic pieces to complete the model, sticker sheet, and assembly instructions. Well, it does not say you do not need to paint it, which is probably a good thing, because it's obvious that this needs to be painted. They've got the body painted, the steel color, but none of the details are painted. And furthermore, here's your pieces. And so the snap, you can see right here, these little nubs will snap into holders. And that's basically the general consensus of a snap type model. You get real rubber tires. More of your pieces. And your stickers, which these are water slide decals. These are not stickers. So this model is definitely not a skill 1 like I assumed it to be. And then you get your directions. And as you can see, 1 tells you to build the dash first. And then you move on to 2, the body, putting the dash piece and the body together, and so on and so forth. And the directions are usually really easy to follow. And the one thing the directions will always give you is here's your paint colors. So, optional gluing tips, it says. This model is molded of styrene plastic. Use only styrene compatible glues or cements before proceeding to cement the parts together. Now, they say optional because this is a snap together model, but you can glue it. Now, personally, me, I'm going to glue it because that's going to give a stronger bond and a fix. We'll go over gluing in the next video. Just want to showcase a couple of things real quick. This is a 83 Z28 Camaro that I built many, many years ago. My very first car was an 84 Z28 Camaro. And now the original picture showed, I think it was like an orange car or yellow or something like that. But the good thing about doing a model is you could paint it and make it your own. You can modify it. You can change the colors. You can do whatever. And that's what I've done here. This is an exact replica now of my very first car that I ever owned in my life. The 84 Z28 Camaro. And I even molded the interior to look like it. And though it's hard to tell here, which, yeah, I'm going to take this top off just so you can see a little bit better. Now, I bought this, or built this many years ago. You can see some of the detail. Kind of hard to see in, but you might be able to tell right here. If you look in the back, that's all carpet I laid down, or it looks like carpet. And it's actual real fiber that can be glued in. So the cool thing is with these models is you can do whatever you want with them. It doesn't matter. That's the fun of doing a model. You literally create it and make it your own. So I hope you've enjoyed this little explanation. And stay tuned for part 2. We'll go over basic tools that you need. Alright. Hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.